Welcome to the Raven Report, the official podcast of Sci-Tech High School. I'm your host, Collin Kerouac, joined by my guest host, Mr. Jasso, the STHS journalism teacher, and today we're reconnecting with one of our alumni. While Kelly and Charles couldn't join us, we're excited to sit down with Haannia Salazar from the class of 2024. She'll share her journey since leaving STHS, the challenges she's faced, and the insights she's gained along the way. Plus, she'll offer advice to current students preparing for life beyond high school. Stay tuned for a great conversation. Joining me now is my co-host, Mr. Jasso.
Thank you for having me on, Collin.
And joining us today is Haannia Salazar from the class of 2024. Welcome to the show, Haannia.
Thanks for having me.
So what about that weather outside?
It's horrendous.
How was your drive over?
It wasn't too bad. I think my drive to work was worse.
Oh, well, you would rather be here than work,
No,
I guess.
definitely.
And I'd rather be in here than out there.
Well, welcome back to STHS. We are so happy to have you back here with us today to talk about your progress and to see what you've been up to. Going to college is such a big opportunity and accomplishment. And so as a STHS alum, we're excited to see what it's like from your perspective, from a previous Wayside scholar. So, Collin, would you like to start us off today?
Of course. So, first off, what's it like being back at STHS?
I would say memories that come up are more of like me and my friends, or a lot of the time it was just me and my teachers always talking. Besides that, that's pretty much it. I just miss my teachers most of all.
Who were the teachers you had and who were your friends?
Teachers, let's see. I had Mr. Jasso. I had Ms. Duzé. Those were my favorite teachers. Besides that, I had Miss Rosa Paul. I also loved her. I had Miss Decker. I don't remember the rest of my classes.
What about Miss Santos?
I did not have Miss Santos. I had Miss Collins.
Miss Collins.
Yeah.
Miss Collins, I like her. She's a good teacher.
Miss Collins is still here if you want to give her a shout out or just go say, hey.
Yeah, she's in the main building.
Oh, she still is?
Yeah, she's still. But what about your friends? Who were some of the friends you hung out with?
By the end of the year, I was hanging out with Jackie, Leslie, Anthony, Allie, Arlene, and we'll just leave it at that, friend.
I see.
Another highlight of my senior year was the senior sleepover, where we spent the night here for that prank. It was pretty fun. Everybody had a blast. We played hide and seek. And yeah, we just had a really good time. And I was able to bond with some people that I previously hadn't been able to. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Wait, I heard about that last year. What was the prank? I forgot. What was the prank y'all pulled?
Basically, we were spending the night and we had put wieners all over the grass, like on all the little grass areas between the parking spaces. And we thought it was funny. We snuck out to do that. Can't say with who, but we did. It was pretty funny. I don't like the cleanup because there was ants all over them. And
makes sense.
The elementary side did not find it funny. But we did.
Not at all? Not even like...
No, they wanted it down.
Oh, wow.
I could imagine.
But I thought it was pretty funny. We did. We had a good time doing it.
I have my own overnight story to share about being at this school, but that's for another time. All right. STHS is a pretty unique school. How do you think it's prepared you for life after high school?
I think it prepared me to be aware that you're not always going to be in your comfort zone. I really typically don't like interacting with. I think the most conversations I had were with my teachers. I really liked that, were just hanging out with my friends. I had a really bad tendency of sleeping during class.
Yeah.
Didn't you get one year the sleepyhead nomination in the yearbook?
Yeah. I slept every day somewhere.
But your senior year, I don't think you were that bad. I think it was. Was it?
I was.
I feel like your senior year you did somewhat better, but I think it was junior year.
Yeah.
I remember you always sound like, Haannia.
Yeah. I remember I had my friends who would take pictures of me. I think at one year it was in Miss Weston's class in the beanbag. I was always knocked out in that class. Or in Spanish, I would just sleep. I would get my work done and then just sleep in touches. We don't have to tell her this until she hears this, but when we would be reading the books, I would tilt to a certain angle and just fall asleep. And then she would ask me if I would be awake, and I would just, yeah, miss, I'm awake.
Yeah, Mr. J, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry you have to hear this from one of your
I
students.
promise I still paid attention. I was just resting my eyes.
Yeah, Colin's actually very similar in Spanish. He'll finish his work early and he's like, okay, I'm done.
It was either watch my phone or go to sleep, and I like my sleeps.
Yes, I understand that. And even though I like my sleep, I still don't get it half the time.
So as a graduate, is there anything about high school that you miss?
I miss seeing the same people. You kind of get into this cycle of, oh, I'm going to see my friends the next day and the next day, and you just get a break from them over the weekend. And in college, not only is it harder for you to make friends because you don't see them every day unless you have classes 24/7, you also you can't build those same connections seeing each other. It's just depressing a little bit, but you build up to it, and then you end the semester and then you have to make new friends. That's kind of different.
You don't really see a lot of the same people, do you? Like when you're in the college, I mean, it's one unique thing. I'm sure you feel this, Colin, but y'all all went to Wayside. It's like you grew up with these people, and year after year after year, you see the same people. But we get to college, that is a big, I think, transition. Do you feel that way, Colin? Do you feel a sense of maybe community or like a sense of comfort from seeing the same people?
I absolutely do. And I don't just see this in my school life. I see this in my outside of school life. I used to have this friend group that was always on my street that we'd always hang out, even though they weren't the nicest people. We'd still hang out. And then as the years went on, slowly most of them started moving away. I only got one friend left on that street that I really even talk to anymore. Yeah. And whenever I go to camp or something like that, it's not always comfortable being just out there with new people. It's sometimes hard to make new friends, but the good thing about camp is I've seen some of those people a couple times now, so now we're familiar.
You kind of get familiar with the same faces. My first semester, I guess people would say I have a resting mean face, and the first 2 weeks I had this girl sitting next to me, super awesome girl, and she would just talk to me and I would answer, and then I would go back to what I was doing. And by the end of the semester, she was like, you're great, I love being friends with you. We would go out, get food, study, and whatever. And I was like, I don't know why we didn't become friends sooner. She's like, well, I thought you didn't like me. And I was like, it's not that, it's hard to make new friends in new areas.
That certainly is a big thing. Like I remember when I was at college, it's like, I didn't feel like, who do we talk to? I also went to a school far away from home back in my college days. So I certainly felt that.
That's gonna be me in a couple years. You seem to miss some things about high school, but you also seem to enjoy the real world as well.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I would say coming out of high school, it was a hard transition because your assignments are different. You don't have somebody pushing on you to have to do them. You don't have the constant reminder that you are required to go to class. So it's very different. And if you skip, that's your consequences, but also it helps you be more independent within yourself. You can't blame somebody else for your actions. And if you don't study, that's on you. Exams aren't where you could go to sleep and still pass them as long as you take a quick preview of it beforehand.
There's definitely differences from the real world to high school, but there's also some similarities.
Yes.
If
Definitely.
you could go back and do high school all over again, would you change anything? And if so, what would it be?
Well, what would I change? Let's see. I would definitely not close myself off. I think I was a very introverted person, and I would just push out of that a little bit, try to be more social with everybody. Overall, I think I did quite a little bit of everything. My last 2 years, I was in art. Although I wish I had done IB art, I really do regret that. I love art. I did prom committee, I fundraised, I worked with the little kids, which they're my pride and joy. I loved the program that I was part of over the weekend. Not weekend, summer.
As if on cue. As if on
Love
cue.
babies.
We actually just had to pause the audio, but I don't think the final cut will be able to include this. Maybe it will, but we have two scholars in the background, and they have the toy baby for Miss Cardena's class for Principles of Education or Human Growth and Development. I'm not actually sure. And it just went off. So I don't think we'll be able to get that in the final cut. Again, we will see. Maybe we can work our magic, but right now you can hear the baby crying, and it just came on point at the right time. It's quite funny.
Hey, education is important. Don't have kids young. You don't want that. If you have a significant other, just stick to being a significant other until you have a job, you go to school, get your degree first, kids.
That's actually really good advice. I really appreciate you saying that because there's so many people becoming parents too young these days. Well, it's always great to hear those high school memories. Now let's fast forward to the present. What have you been up to since graduating from STHS?
What have I been up to? I went to a couple concerts. I went to go see Omar Apollo, Ivan Cornejo, which I love. I'm going to go see him again in May. I've gone out at night with my friends. It's been pretty interesting, to say the least. I made new friends. I've tried new places. And I'm trying to go out more. I would say that's the biggest thing that's changed since leaving high school. I got a new job, which is interesting. I like not having to pick up things because I'm a girl. But what else? Oh, I went to go see a lot of movies. I've really been into going to the movies right now. That's another thing. Besides that, I'm just sticking to school and working. I want to get a house.
Are you still living with your parents?
Yes, my parents and I have this plan that I get a house as soon as possible. And to do that, I'm living with them right now, which I don't really mind. I've kind of built a relationship with my parents where they're able to trust me enough to understand, like, I'm not a baby, I'm not in high school, and I just kind of keep my parents in the loop of, hey, this is what I'm doing. Last weekend I went to San Marcos with Ali, actually, and I spent the night over there. We just had fun, trying new things. Anthony Cortez actually went with us as well, and it was just fun. I just texted my mom, hey, this is where I'm at. We went to go get matching tattoos. We went out, met new people. It was a great time. So it's definitely different from my parents, but not anything too
radical.
drastic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're working and in college?
Correct. I am a full-time student and full-time at my job.
Wow, you must be kind of swamped, honestly.
A little bit. I'm really glad that my job allows me to not have to work on Sundays, and Saturdays we would only really work, I say 4 hours, and that's only during the spring to summertime. So right now I haven't worked any Saturdays, and I do get really good benefits with them, so it's really flexible. And I only go to school 2 days out of the week, so that helps as well.
So it's a part-time job.
It's full-time. I do work
okay.
7 to 4. And then if we have deliveries that we made and I have to wait for a driver, I keep myself busy until they get there. Sometimes I don't leave till 5, or I'll get there early. Last year we had inventory coming into December, and I think we did 15 hours that day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, jeez.
A lot of work.
You sound like my mom at the post office.
So what has been your biggest adjustment from you used to be a high school student here, but now you're in college, you got a job. What's been the biggest adjustment, you think?
I think there wasn't really an adjustment into going to work, maybe a little bit, because I have to wake up at 6 to get there by 7. And for school, I think my biggest adjustment was school itself. My first semester, I struggled a lot with studying. So in high school, I would like to say I didn't find the necessity to, because I was able to comprehend the subjects really well. And don't get me wrong, in college, your classes aren't that hard as long as you pay attention. But in math, if you don't do the homework, even if you get it, it pulls you back. And, somebody not telling you constantly, like, hey, do it, that also, like, it's on you. So my biggest adjustment really was going into high school, going out of high school into college and accepting that it's all on me. And if I don't have the determination to do it, it won't happen.
Yeah. I remember that in my college experiences because I was like you. I'd never studied a lot in high school. I got it the first time. I said, oh, got this. And I had all A's and B's in my classes. And then you get to college and I'm like, oh, I got my first test and it's a C. I'm like, holy crap.
Luckily, I kind of had that experience with my IB test, like for math. Like I didn't really study too much for my first IB test and I got exactly what you said. I got a C on my IB test.
It's completely different. For my last semester, all of my classes is pretty good. I had an English class, and thanks to my IB credits, I was able to skip some of my English classes and skip some other classes. I went into math, and the subjects aren't hard. I can understand them. It was more of, I can understand them, but they're going to be very different sometimes. Depending on your professor, your test can look nothing like your practice. I think the first test, I think I got a 60, and I was like, this is horrible. And then I looked at other people around me, and some had 20s and 40s, and I was like, okay, I'm not that bad. But I still got to get up there. Study rooms, book the library, learning lab, do everything you can.
That's exactly how the IB math test was for me, because math is so nuanced sometimes. You got to basically learn how to do like math skills for anything. Like you got to
it's such a broad subject. Right now I'm in calculus, which horrible. It's not hard. It's just a really quick pace of learning. And I haven't factored in over maybe 3 years because I finished math by my sophomore year and I took IB for a little bit before I left it. And I have to factor, which is 8th grade me, and ask me if I remember that. No, I literally had to go back to the learning lab and say, explain this, because what is this?
Yeah, definitely. I understand that. So you've taken IB and non-IB classes at Wayside, yes?
Correct.
And so do you think your IB classes prepared you more than your non-IB classes, or is it's too hard to say?
It can really vary. My IB classes definitely showed me that there are harder tests. It gave me, I would say my only stressful part in IB was truly the paper 3, I believe it was, in IB History of the Americas and IB Language and Literature. That was definitely just hectic, knowing that I had to remember all these subjects. And that's something that helps you in college because you have to be aware. There's some teachers that give you a final exam and it's about everything you need to remember, from day 1 to the last day, and there's some where you don't. And that kind of varies depending on your class, because you'll see that in high school. But it's very different. You see a whole nother way of education.
Yeah, I remember one class I had, there were 2 tests. There was the midterm and there was the final.
Yeah.
That was it. And so if you failed the midterm, you had like 2 weeks to drop the class.
Yeah.
And you better you better drop the class, because if you did not do well on the midterm, that means on the final, you have to have an A.
Yeah. In my mathematics class for business, I thankfully wasn't like midterm and final. It was exam 1 for this subject, exam 2 for these subjects, exam 3 for these subjects. And I did a 60 on one, I did an 85 on the other, and I got a 92 on the last one.
Yeah. These tests that you have in college, they're definitely very different than what we have in high school, just in frequency. I mean, because in college, you don't really have tests, you have exams.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't get quizzes. I mean, you'll get quizzes, but it's 5 minutes in the beginning of class. You do it, and that's it. You miss it. There's no taking that back. And same thing with attendance. Some classes require it, and some don't.
So during all this time, have you faced any unexpected obstacles? And if so, how have you handled them?
Some are personal because there's times where professors don't care. They don't care if you could be dying. They literally won't care. my math teacher last year, first he was like a little weird. Second, he just didn't care. Like, you could miss it for like having to go to the hospital, and he would still say, you missed it. Life happens. So that was definitely a big obstacle, like having family things happen and, you can't miss or you have to miss, and you have to figure out other ways to make up for that. Besides that, I would say learning how to study again.
Yeah.
I love right now, I've gone to the learning lab and I could just be there. I don't even need the teacher's help. I'm just there. And it just gives you a different surroundings that boost you. You see other people trying to learn something. You're going to push it so that you can achieve whatever you want to.
So for our audience of high schoolers here, could you tell us a little bit about what Learning Lab is?
A learning lab it's like a little computer lab where you have a bunch of computers, you have desks, you also have little study rooms that you can book, and you have teachers in there, and for all the different subjects. Some are at different times, various teachers with various learning mechanisms. And you go in there, you sit down. If you need help, there's always somebody there. You could even have another classmate with you or study in a room, and it just be you and classmates and you just getting support when needed.
I remember for me, I would often go to a writing lab because my writing wasn't that great in my freshman year of college. And so I don't know if your school has that and how much writing you're doing, but I would definitely utilize those resources.
No, definitely. They're doing a study right now in school where they're seeing how much people are improving with going to the learning lab. And it's definitely big. I personally didn't want to go at first, but it does help you. Even if you're not there consistently, just every once in a while, it'll give you that extra boost.
So being out of high school for a few years has seemed to give you a lot of extra knowledge that you didn't have before. A lot of new experiences.
Yes, it was definitely a wake-up call in a sense. I knew some of these stuff. It all comes at you. You don't have a little pause. In high school, you can give yourself a second, take that moment. You have your friends constantly. You won't be away from them. And in high school, everything's at you. You have to figure out how to pace yourself, have to learn how to not just take your school education in your hand, but also your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We have a new senior class this year who's about to graduate, make the same experience, make the same transition as you are. In fact, we have one sitting right here with us. What advice would you share with them?
I would say enjoy what you have. I know everybody says that. I know it's super corny, but enjoy what you have because you're going to miss seeing your friends constantly as much as they bug you. You're going to miss the environment. And even if high school wasn't that great of an experience, take what you have now and keep it, because when you go into college, it's going to be new. And be open to new things. Be open-minded, because that just creates new experiences for you that you might not have seen before. You only have so much luck in your life to take advantage.
So to rewind last year, what is something you wish, knowing what you know now, that you wish either us as teachers told y'all or adults told you, or somebody else said information that you wish you had learned last year, knowing what you know now?
Teachers do not care about you. Well, they care, but if you don't want to succeed, they can push all they want on you, and it's gonna be up to you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember where they'd be like, oh, they won't put up with your attitude. No, they won't. They'll just get you out of the class.
They'll just say, you're on your own.
No, literally, I have a teacher who, if she sees your phone and you don't put it away, you're out. You're done. You miss 3 times, you're done. You don't turn in enough assignments or you don't put in your work, you're done. They don't care. I have really great teachers who are helping me succeed a lot, really, in my personal life and in education. But one thing specific that I guess wasn't told is you're on your own. You don't have reminders. You don't have that. You need to look for your own help. You'll have it there right next to you. You just need to go ask for it, and don't be embarrassed to.
What habits or skills would you suggest that high schoolers start to develop?
Learn what study mechanisms help you. Specifically, try new things. I personally learn best by teaching other people. I like doing it on a whiteboard and teach other people. Another thing is learn to communicate, because you will have to interact with new people and they might not be somebody you like or somebody you're used to, but you're going to have to. You have to create an environment. You have to push yourself to be open. And I think that's the biggest thing, be open-minded. In my current class, that's one thing. You have to understand there's so many different perspectives in this world, and you have to be open to everything.
You got to be really flexible, right? You have to be able to work in this environment, work with these people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've met professors, like you mentioned, the person that was kind of weird.
Oh, definitely. Like,
To be able to work with these people.
also, if something weird happens to you in school, speak up about it. A professor should not be putting their hands on you. That's not okay. And any slurs or anything that makes you uncomfortable, also speak up about it, because that's also not okay. So I'm saying be open-minded, but also if something's weird, say it.
Yeah, there's a fine line between, okay, this person's a little eccentric and this person is inappropriate.
Right.
Oh, also go to my professor, or what is it called?
Rate my professor.
Rate my professor, because it's going to save you.
Oh, yeah, Ms.
With so many
Duchesne
things.
told me about that.
Plan your classes quickly. Don't wait on FAFSA, because you're going to struggle last minute. And do as many scholarships as you can. They're so worth it. It's free money, especially if you're just going, like if you're starting at ACC, which is nothing bad. It's free money for you, like to do as you wish. And if you go to a private school or a public college, apply, because you could get free school.
So a lot of our students here are really interested in ACC. Did you participate in the free tuition program?
Yes. So I got accepted to the schools I wanted to, and I really did want to go to a big university. But ACC is not only like a smaller group, which is something that I'm used to, and I didn't want to push myself out there too much yet. It's free right now, which is so good. It saves you money. A lot of people, I was sad about it at first because I was going to community college. I really don't care anymore. It's free money that you get from FAFSA if you apply and qualify. It's free money for scholarships that you can get, and you get free tuition. The only thing you'll ever have to pay for is like textbooks and stuff, but that can get deducted from your FAFSA, and I think the max is like $200 if it's textbooks. So it's great. It doesn't affect how a teacher's going to treat you. They're still getting paid, just not by you.
Yeah, that's really great that y'all have that financial support, but college is expensive.
It really is. I mean, I thought paying... Also, get a calculator. If you're taking math, what is it called? A scientific calculator. I like the TICE plus whatever. It's great. Buy it before your professor asks for it, because then you're going to be in class without it. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Or buy a used one. Facebook Marketplace is the way to go.
So what did you ultimately decide to major in? Or have you decided yet?
Right now, I'm going for business administration, and I hope to transfer out to Texas State for human resources. However, this really wise person, aka Sosa, told me to have fun with my classes, because I'm still young. I'm still learning what I like and don't like, and my classes are free. I'm taking some psychology courses and philosophy courses right now, and I'm absolutely loving it. If for any reason I end up changing, I'm going to stick to administration and do a minor in psychology or philosophy.
Yeah, I started school. My first degree was in history, and then I took a Spanish class, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's super fun. I would just say you may know what you're trying to get into, but if you have the ability to play around, figure out what you like, and what you thought might be your plan may not be after all. It's just completely fun.
For me as a junior, I'm going to college here in a couple of years. What advice would you give me to dealing with the pressure of choosing a career or college path?
Be open. I keep on saying it, but be open. I went in because I know that I'm good in certain things, so I picked my major based off what I know I'm good at. However, if you don't know, that's okay. You have time right now to see programs or intern or see what opportunities are out there right now for you to play around with it before you dive in entirely. Or if you want to start at ACC right now, your class and this senior class have free tuition at ACC. Do a summer course. do a program. There's so many things that you could do to see what you like before you jump into something.
There seems to be a lot of things that you need to know before you go into the real world and do this kind of stuff. Is there anything you think current students are worrying too much about? Anything they should focus on more?
That's a good question. Focus on, first off, I like coming here, unless you're trying to get into this really prestigious school, don't stress. As long as you have your A's, B's, whatever, you're okay. You're going to get into schools. Have a really good personal statement. That's one thing any senior, start off your junior summer. Second you get out of junior year, you should be working on that essay. There should be no reason for you to stress about that essay.
Personal statement?
Yeah, the personal statement, sorry. That one should be done. That's one thing that no one should stress about. But
Collin, you already got your summer homework.
definitely just, I don't know, just play around with things. Don't stress too much about it. Unless you know what you want to do and are trying to get into UT or something. Don't feel that much pressure besides the financial side. That's really, if you're going somewhere where you have to pay money, you better find a good job or apply to a lot of scholarships before you can do anything. But play around with it. You're young. I still have a major, but at the end, I might change it tomorrow. Who knows?
Right.
Be flexible.
Well, Haannia, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your advice and your amazing insight. The real world has seemed to really help you out a lot. I hope it does for me and for all the other people who are under the age of 18 and about to get ready to go into that world. Any final thoughts you'd like to share?
I would just say have fun only having school and being required to go to school without having to worry about other things. Some people may work right now and you may be in school and work. That's okay. After high school is when you need to start worrying a lot more. Also, Charles said hi. He said he's sorry he couldn't make it.
Tell Charles that Mr. Jasso was upset, but he forgives him.
You shouldn't. That's okay.
And for the record, for our listeners, we invited 2 other alumni to our program today, Charles and Kelly. Both of them were invited, and I believe Charles said he had some car trouble, and Kelly said she had an emergency meeting that precluded her from attending today's program. So I'm not going to say that I'm happy that they're not here, but at least we have Haannia, and hopefully for future episodes, we can get some additional alumni onto the program to help us stay connected with our graduates. I mean, at Wayside, at least for me, I feel a large disconnect with a lot of our kids after they leave. We don't hear much about them, and I'm hoping that with this podcast and future initiatives that we can continue to reconnect with our graduates and to hear about their wins, their struggles, and how life is going for them. And so, again, I forgive Charles. I even forgive Kelly, but don't think that you're off the hook. We are going to be reaching out again, and we would love to have y'all on the program. And that goes for any alum or alumni from STHS. We would love to have you on the program if you're listening. So if you know anybody, any listeners, if you know anyone, let us know.
Thank you, Haannia, for joining us today, and thank you, Mr. Jasso, for co-hosting. Today, we got to hear from Haannia about her experiences at STHS, her journey after graduation, and the advice she has for students preparing for the next chapter of their lives. Life after high school is different for everyone, but one thing's for sure, it's an exciting and challenging adventure. We'd love to hear from our listeners. What are your biggest concerns or questions about life after STHS? Drop us a comment on Spotify and let us know. Your feedback could be featured in a future episode. Join us next time on The Raven Report as we sit down with Coach A for an in-depth conversation about sports, STHS, and much more. You don't want to miss it. This is Collin Kerouac signing off from The Raven Report. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay curious, STHS.